guys, Dual Sport Fan Man here. Just going to do a quick rundown of my top 5 possible upgrades in the future. Who knows how long it'll be though. I'm still enjoying this little XT. It does what it's supposed to do. Gets you from point A to point B. Definitely not the fastest. Definitely not the most dirt worthy. But just kind of does. Anyway, back to my top 5. Coming in at number 5, the Suzuki V-Strom 650. Why is it number 5, some people ask? Well, there's lots of pros and cons to every one of these dual sports. As we all know, every dual sport has its strengths and weaknesses. For the V-Strom itself, it lacks in a couple of areas. Most importantly, off-road worthiness, I guess. I just don't see myself being able to do a lot of dirt trails, and you can do dirt roads fine, but I mean single track trails, those are probably out. And you definitely would have to beef up a couple of things, like the you'd have to put a nice bash plate under it, because I think the exhaust runs under it. You definitely have to view things to make it off-road worthy. But and I've seen some people try to take their V-Strom on YouTube off-road and stuff like that, but I just feel bad for those nice bikes, man. They're so expensive and so nice to take a $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 bike and just beat the crap out of it like those people online do, you know. I don't know how they do it and sleep at night, you know. I would probably definitely ride it on dirt roads and stuff like that, but I just don't see myself, you know, getting on single track and beating it to crap and struggling and trying to keep up with smaller things like this right here off-road. I just don't see it. And listen, part of it is maybe just because I'm not a very good rider yet, and I'm definitely probably one of the worst riders as far as there are out there right now. I'm still learning, but that's just a nice bike that I guess some people, as my dad would say, have more money than sense, and they'll take an $8,000-$9,000 bike and just beat the crap out of it off-road. And listen, some of them are made for this. I get that. I just personally don't have $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 to do that with. For a new one, now you can find used ones. You can find a used V-Strom probably around $4,000 to $5,000 in really good shape. Every once in a while you'll see one creep down to $3,500. Pros for the V-Strom, it is definitely probably the one that's best made for the road out of the group. It also has the most horsepower out of the group. It'll run off and leave any of them on the road. It'll just blow by them like they're not even there. But with that being said, it's also probably the worst one off the road. So and it's also the most expensive in the used market and new, I would say. So that's why it checks in at number 5. Coming in at number 4, the Honda XR650L. And really 4 and 5 are kind of interchangeable. The Honda's kind of the exact opposite, except it leans more towards dirt. I would say the V-Strom is probably a 70 street, 30 dirt kind of bike, or an 80-20. The Honda XR is probably right the opposite. It's probably 70 dirt, 30 street. So my problems with it is, once again, it's fairly expensive also. They're not as common as some of the other dual sports that I want to talk about. And it definitely scary with its seat height. That's a big con for me. It sits like 37 inches off the ground or something like that. So it's definitely it's probably by far the tallest one of the group. So it's a little bit intimidating. But with that being said, there's people that have reviewed them and talked about them say once you're on them, you ride the dirt like nobody's business and you're good to go. Coming in number 3, the Kawasaki Classic KLR. The old KLR's been around forever. It's had a couple of minor things done to it over the years, but the idea remains largely the same. And Kawasaki has done a fantastic job with the bike. That's why it's still probably one of the worldwide most well-used and known bikes as far as dual sporting goes. It is very road-worthy. It has a nice windshield and fairing. And it also can do some off-road stuff. Problems with it are it's fairly tall. I think it's 35-inch seat height. It also weighs a lot. A lot of people, you know, refer to them as being really heavy off-road, and that's kind of a negative off-road. As far as it being kind of more like a tour or an adventure bike, it definitely fits that mold a little better than a lot of them. Coming in number 3, the Suzuki DRZ 400S. I would definitely go with the S model first because it's street legal right out of the box, so to speak. It is more dirt oriented, akin to the XR, except it's lighter. In the low 30s in horsepower. KLR and Honda, by the way, are in the 30s horsepower wise too. It's also lighter than the KLR and the XR. Definitely not as street worthy. Once again, that's one of those that's toss up. I would say 4 and 5 in my list are a toss up. 3 and 2 are a toss up with the DRZ and KLR. Number 1, without any question whatsoever, in my opinion, is the DR650. That would be my ideal dual sport motorcycle. Reasons? What's not to love about it? I feel like it's just the perfect 50-50 bike. It's got more horsepower than the KLR and the DRZ. It has a lower seat height than the Honda XR. It's probably just as affordable as most of them. There's a huge aftermarket for it. So it has a huge aftermarket, tons of mods, tons of parts out there, just like the KLR and DRZ. And I don't know, I've sat on all of these. My favorite one to sit on immediately was the DR, and mainly because seat height. I think the seat height's slower than all of them except the Suzuki V-Strom. And I think, you would have to do some things to make it more roadworthy. I think you'd have to put a nice windshield on them, where some of them, like the KLR and V-Strom, come with that already. Anyway, there's my top 5, guys. Leave comments below. What do you think your top 5 dual sport motorcycles are? And leave comments. Please subscribe. Dual Sport Fan Man, out.